Okay, so here's my simple framework for Azure Load Balancers. It's designed to take you from that moment of analysis paralysis, which one do I even pick, to making the perfect, cost-effective choice for your app every single time. Hi everyone, I'm Lionel, solution engineer at Microsoft, and I see this all the time, brilliant engineers getting stuck in analysis paralysis. The official docs are great for telling you what each service does, but not for giving you a simple, repeatable process for how to choose between them. So in this video, we are going to fix that. First, we'll do a super quick refresher on what a load balancer is, then we will run through the main players in Azure, and finally, I will walk you through my simple decision framework so you can make the perfect choice every time. As always, timestamps are below, so feel free to jump around. Alright, so before we dive into the Azure specific services, let's take just 60 seconds to get on the same page about what the load balancer actually does, and more importantly, why you should care. At its core, a load balancer is like a super efficient traffic cop for your application. Imagine you have built a website. If you run it on just one server, you are basically building a house of cards. If that single server goes down for maintenance or just decides it's had enough and crashes, well, your entire application goes down with it, so it's not great. So the smart move is to have multiple identical copies of your server. This gives you two superpowers. First, high availability, because if one server fails, the others are still running, and second, scalability, because you can add more servers when traffic spikes during a big launch. But this creates a new problem. How do your users know which server to connect to? You don't want them to have to remember a list of dozen different IP addresses, and that's exactly where the load balancer comes in. It sits in front of all your servers and provides a single public entry point. When a user tries to connect, the load balancer catches that request and smartly decides which of the backend servers is best equipped to handle it, based on things like availability and current load. It's constantly running health checks, so it knows never to send traffic to a server that's down, and the key takeaway is this. A load balancer is what turns a group of individual servers into a single, resilient, and scalable application. Okay, that's the basic theory, but here's where it gets tricky, and this is the first crucial point for our framework. Not all traffic is the same. Some load balancers are simple and just direct network packets, while others are super smart and can actually read the application data inside those packets, like HTTP requests. This is the whole layer 4 versus layer 7 debate. Think of layer 4 as a postal service. It only cares about the address on the envelope, the IP address and port. It doesn't look inside, it's fast, simple, and efficient for any type of traffic. And layer 7, on the other hand, is like a mailroom assistant who actually opens the envelope and reads the letter. Because it understands HTTP, it can make much smarter decisions, like sending all requests for /images to a specific set of servers optimized for images, or all requests for /API to your backend API servers. Understanding which one you need, the simple postal worker or the smart mailroom assistant, is the first step in choosing the right service, and it's going to save you a lot of headaches later on. So with that in mind, let's look at the actual options we have in Azure. Alright, so we know we need a traffic cop. Now let's meet the main candidates for the job in the Azure ecosystem. The easiest way to think about them is to split them into main categories, the ones that work with a single Azure region and the ones that work across the entire globe. Getting this one distinction right solves half of the puzzle. Let's start with the regional players. First up, we have the classic, the Azure Load Balancer. This is your workhorse, your fundamental layer 4 load balancer. This is the postal worker we talked about earlier. It's incredibly fast and efficient because it only looks at the network address, the IP, and the port. It doesn't care if you are sending web traffic, database queries, or streaming video. It just gets the packet where they need to go. Quick pro tip, always use the standard SKU. The basic one is free, which is tempting, but the standard version gives you a proper SLA and the modern features you actually want, like support for availability zones. The single most important thing to remember about Azure Load Balancer is that an instance is either internal for your private traffic or public for internet traffic. It can never be both at the same time. This makes it perfect for things like distributing traffic between your web servers and your internal database servers. But what if you need that smart mailroom assistant who actually reads the mail? That brings us to our second regional service, Application Gateway. As the name suggests, this is a specialist. It's a layer 7 load balancer designed specifically for web applications because it understands HTTP, it has a few superpowers, it can perform SSL offloading, which means it handles all the complicated encryption and decryption work, freeing up your web servers to just serve content. It can also do path-based routing, so you can send users going to your website.com/images to one set of servers and users going to /API to another. And here's a killer feature, Application Gateway can come with a built-in Web Application Firewall or WAF. Think of this as a dedicated security guard for your website, protecting you from common attacks like SQL injections and cross-site scripting right out of the box. So if you're dealing with public-facing web traffic in a single region, Application Gateway is almost always your answer. Okay, so you might be thinking, great, I will just use Application Gateway for my website and I'm done. And for an application that only serves users in one part of the world, you would be right. But what happens the moment your business grows and your users on the other side of the planet start complaining about lag? That's when we need to go global. This brings us to our global load balancers. First up is Azure Front Door. Think of Front Door as Application Gateway, but on a global scale and injected with performance-enhancing steroids. It's also a layer 7 service, but instead of living in one region, it lives everywhere at once on Microsoft's Global Edge network. And when a user in Tokyo visits your site hosted in Europe, they don't connect all the way across the world. Front Door meets them at a network edge right there in Tokyo, handles a secure connection, and then uses Microsoft's private superfast backbone network to fetch the data. The result is a dramatically faster and more secure experience for your users, no matter where they are. It's a premium choice for any serious global web application. But Front Door is an HTTP-only specialist. What if you need to globally distribute something that isn't a website, or you need a simpler, more versatile option? That's where our final service comes in, Azure Traffic Manager. This one is the old-school veteran. It works in a completely different way. It's not a traffic cop that routes your data, it's a traffic director that works using DNS. When a user tries to connect, Traffic Manager simply tells their computer the IP address of your closest or healthiest data center, and then the user connects directly. The beauty of this, it's simplicity and flexibility. It can point to literally anything that has a public IP, including servers running on-premise or even in another cloud. The main trade-off is that because it relies on DNS, failover isn't instant. If a region goes down, it may take a minute for the change to propagate, and as we all know from painful experience, it's always DNS. So, now we have met the 4 main players: the regional workhorse, Azure Load Balancer, the regional web specialist Application Gateway, the global performance king Azure Front Door, and the global DNS director Traffic Manager. And now, for the part you have been waiting for, how do we take all this information and turn it into a dead simple decision tree that gives you the right answers in seconds? Let's build the framework. Alright, so now, for the part you have been waiting for, we have made the players, we understand the theory, but how do we turn this into that dead simple framework I promised you at the start? How do we make the right choice every single time without that feeling of analysis paralysis? Well, I'm going to show you 3 ways to do it, from the classic engineering approach to my personal favorite, which is hidden right inside the Azure portal. The first method is to use the official decision tree from the Microsoft documentation, which you can see on screen now. Honestly, this flowchart is fantastic because it visualizes the exact mental model we need. It all starts with the most fundamental question: is your application a web app that uses HTTP or HTTPS? This is that layer 7 versus layer 4 distinction we talked about. If the answer is yes, you go down the left side of the chart. If it's no, meaning it could be any other kind of TCP or UDP traffic, you follow the path on the right. Let's quickly follow the yes path for a web app. The next big question is it an internet-facing application? If not, it's probably an internal tool, and Application Gateway is a great fit. If it is public, the next question is it global, deployed in multiple regions? A yes here immediately brings Azure Front Door into the picture for that performance acceleration. A no keeps you in the regional world with Application Gateway. As you can see, by answering just 2 or 3 simple questions, you have already narrowed it down to the perfect solution. This flowchart is an amazing tool for understanding the logic, and I highly recommend studying it. Now that's the manual way. The second method, which is much more 2024, is to simply ask Copilot for Azure. You can literally ask Copilot which load balancer should I use for my application, and it will ask you questions to find the right solution. It's a fast way to get a recommendation. But my personal favorite method, which is the one I think it's generally the most useful, is a tool baked right into the Azure portal called Load Balancing Help Me Choose. I will put a direct link in the description below. This tool is brilliant because it turns that complex flowchart into a simple and interactive questionnaire. It asks you those same key questions. Is it web traffic? Is it internet facing? Do you need global reach? And as you answer, it filters down the options in real time, explaining the pros and cons of each remaining choice. And the best part, once it gives you the final recommendation, there is a create button right there. It seamlessly takes you from making a decision to actually deploying the resource. It's like a choose your own adventure for cloud architecture, and it's the perfect way to make sure you are building on the right foundation. But once that traffic arrives, especially if you're running on Kubernetes, a whole new world of complexity begins inside the cluster. You are no longer just routing to VMs, you are dealing with services, pods, and the all-important ingress controller. Getting that internal traffic flow right is a massive challenge, which is why I have made this video right here on how to manage traffic in AKS like a pro. It's the perfect next step for you. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.